Joining us here live on News 6 Plus, I'm Ginger Gadsden.
And I'm Justin Mormouth. Today, we remember and honor the 49 lives lost in the Pulse nightclub shooting. 8 years later, members of the community say the pain is still fresh.
God, it was
all
news.
over the news.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking. It was tragic.
It is one of the deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history. Tonight, we're covering how the community is coming together again to pay their respects.
First, though, we are following the latest developments in the death investigation of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. Tonight, we are learning more about the timeline in this case and the full involvement of the prime murder suspect in the story. Stefan Stearns has remained in an Osceola County jail since Maddie went missing at the end of February.
And now newly released documents are pinpointing that exact time period when Stearns said he dropped her off near Hunters Creek Middle School, but she never made it to class. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest has been combing through the files, and he has the latest now at 6:30.
My daughter was dropped off close to school this morning.
Jennifer Soto told detectives the last time she saw her daughter Madeline was the night before the 13-year-old vanished. Jennifer Soto says she instructed the teen to go to bed in the same room as Jennifer's boyfriend, Stefan Stearns. The next morning at 7:35 a.m., surveillance cameras at the Venetian Bay Village apartments captured video of Stearns discarding something in the trash compactor, which investigators believe was Madeline's backpack and school laptop. The video also showed a female wearing a green sweater in the front passenger seat of Stearns' car, completely slumped over with her mouth ajar. At 7:50 a.m., surveillance video shows Stearns' car leave the apartment complex. At 8:19 a.m., it returns and then leaves again at 8:31. Each time, a body believed to be the teen can be seen in the car with her head visible tilted on her left shoulder. Stefan Stearns told detectives he dropped Madeline off at Hunters Creek Middle School at 8:40 a.m., but investigators say a license plate reader captured Stearns' car miles away from the school at that time. At 9:40 a.m., surveillance cameras at an office building on John Young Parkway captured Stearns' vehicle entering the top floor of a parking garage. A man then opened the passenger door of the car and proceeded to carry what appeared to be a limp female body to the trunk of the vehicle. Using license plate readers and surveillance video, investigators say they could see Stearns' car traveling east towards St. Cloud and Old Hickory Tree Road. That's where investigators later found Madeline Soto's body lying face down between some bamboo trees and covered in debris. Stearns has pleaded not guilty to sexually molesting and murdering Madeline Soto. We have created an interactive map showing Stearns' alleged movements on the day of the teen's disappearance. Just look for this story on our website, clickorlando.com. Mike DeForest, News 6.
Tonight, we remember 8 years ago when tragedy struck Central Florida and changed our community forever. 49 people were killed, 53 others hurt after a gunman opened fire in Pulse nightclub. Tonight, we are honoring those 49 angels. News 6's Troy Campbell is in downtown Orlando at the Dr. Phillips Center.
Inside the Dr. Phillips Center, the Pulse Remembrance ceremony is set to begin in about a half an hour. It's expected to be an emotional event, adding to several other events happening through town.
Javier Jorge Reyes, Juan Ramón Guerrero, Juan Chavez Martinez.
In downtown Orlando, there was a ringing of the bells ceremony held at the First United Methodist Church where they read aloud the names of the victims. All day long, people have been stopping by the Pulse nightclub, the scene of the massacre 8 years ago. People have been paying their respect and honoring the 49 lives lost on June 12, 2016. The building is still covered with photos of both the victims and the community in the days that followed. We spoke with a couple visiting from Oregon who says they realized it was June 12th, so they rushed down to honor the victims.
Memorial signs say, love is love, you know?
It's very, this is my partner of 23 years. And
yeah, I'm surprised how
emotional
this is for me. I didn't know anybody here, but just
we didn't know anybody.
Here,
and yet,
it just breaks my heart.
Yet we are a family because we're all impacted by it.
And again, the Pulse Remembrance ceremony is set to begin at 7 p.m. inside the Dr. Phillips Center. And of course, we will bring you the highlights tonight at 11. In downtown Orlando, Troy Campbell, Getting Results, News 6.
And many of those shot and wounded were treated at Orlando Regional Medical Center. It is the only level 1 trauma center in our area and only just a few blocks away from where the mass shooting took place. Of course, it looks a little bit different now, 8 years later. And News 6 got a first look inside the new and improved trauma center. It just opened, and one of the biggest takeaways from treating patients on the night of the tragedy was that this center needed to expand.
22 people respond to each trauma alert, 22 people around one person. So to have that many people in the previously cramped space, it was tight.
After the Pulse nightclub shooting, we realized some shortcomings that we had. Most importantly, we realized how we could make things better.
The new center is double the size and there is surge space. Doctors say they can add 10 more treatment areas if needed. And that is so vital, even in day-to-day situations. Car crashes, fires, shootings, tragedies that could happen any day can bring in patients who need immediate help. Doctors say the doctors at the hospital say even this past weekend, the trauma center was nearly at capacity. They also say the trauma center is meant to save lives, get results, and give back to the community. And they feel that the community understands how critical this care is because the new $25 million trauma center was paid for entirely by donations.
All right, let's take you outside right now for a live look. This is beautiful downtown Mount Dora, where it looks pretty dry out there. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas is in for Tom tonight. Did they not see any rain?
They saw a few showers earlier today. But yeah, the sun coming out and we'll dry things back out nicely. And I think the storm chances are going to go down throughout the course of the evening. We have a few downpours out there now, mainly for us in and around Kissimmee. Nice clean sweep towards Orlando. We run the risk of a pop-up downpour still for the soccer game tonight, but I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to be on the drier side for the rest of the evening. Same for us right along the coast here. We have a stray downpour in the mix pushing onshore. Most of the activity west now of I-75. We'll continue to see that roll forward. The drier places have been northwest of I-4 as expected. Again, we weren't expecting a ton of rain for us in Marion County. This is over the last 24 hours to about 3 or 4 o'clock into the afternoon. More rain, of course, throughout the course of the afternoon into today, and there's the rain that Mount Dora saw earlier today. Same for us in Umatilla and Eustis. Groveland into Claremont, about a ½ inch of rain through 3 o'clock. And the big rain ticket down south, you saw the flooding again throughout parts of South Florida as expected. Again, the steadiest rain far south of our area and really for us locally along into the southeast corner of I-4. Still under the influence of tropical moisture over the next couple of days. It will continue to be scattered in nature, but much needed rain remains on the way. We're going to pinpoint the timeline of that for the rest of your evening and then getting into tomorrow coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. And get Pinpoint Weather on the go. Plus, use live interactive radar with our free News 6 Pinpoint Weather app. Search WKMG in your app store.
Well, it's a project meant to bring thousands of high-paying jobs to Osceola County. We're talking about Neo City. It's taking shape right along 192, just south of Silver Spurs Arena, really close to downtown Kissimmee as well. A nearly 500-acre high-tech hub in the field of advanced manufacturing, producing products that help enable 6G, autonomous vehicles, and so much more. But a decade after Neo City was put into motion, this field of dreams here is hardly realized. Is it where you thought it would be in 2024?
Well, you kind of enter into this, they say you build it and it will come. Right. I wish I understood better how slow that can actually be.
It's over there. Osceola County Manager Don Fisher has been involved in the Neo City plan since the beginning. The project's main goal, diversify the economy and bring thousands of high-paying jobs to a county that is heavily reliant on tourism and agriculture. Would you say this is the most important for Osceola County's future, this development's success?
It's certainly our most important economic development project, but we're doing this not to be in the semiconductor industry. We're doing this to grow high-tech jobs for our community.
So far, Fisher says the county has invested more than $300 million, taxpayer dollars, into Neo City. It's also received $500 million in federal funding in the past 20 months.
What the federal government likes about what we're doing is that because the county owns it, it's not going anywhere.
How many jobs has this created? so far?
So far, it's about 140 direct.
It's not a lot. It's not enough. A lot of money, but not a lot of jobs. It's just not justifiable.
Nellie Hernandez and Jeremy Fetzer are with Osceola Action Committee, an organization formed a few years ago to fight the rapid growth in the county. They're frustrated with the lack of progress at Neo City, considering how much money has been spent. So it's failing in your eyes?
Absolutely, it's failing. Right now, it's just a money pit. It's a tax dollars money pit.
I would say it is failing, but I caveat that taxpayers have too much invested for it to fail.
Right. It can't fail.
It can't fail. So, yeah, we're 350 million into this project. This project has been fully funded by taxpayers. So to allow this to fail would be detrimental to our economy.
One of the original partners at Neo City was UCF, an anchor tenant at the technology park. But in 2021, the school pulled out of the project and Skywater Technology took its place, manufacturing semiconductors for the military.
Honestly, what UCF did was what all of Osceola taxpayers want to do. We've peeled back enough of the onion to say, this isn't working. But if we want to realize this bright future that the county manager puts forth in the county commission, again, when it comes to bringing in our key partners, our partners to build Neo City, we need to see them put skin in the game, bring capital, put cash into the project. It can't just be us as taxpayers.
How to express the value of this has been one of the more challenging things to get that message across. They're going to see results, they're going to see benefits. It's very similar to, we're not as big as Medical City, but the companies are going to start coming in. My view of it, we're in a 4-year run, not a 10-year run.
I understand how taxpayers feel because you look at the renderings right there and then you look at the present day, and after 10 years, there are just 3 buildings on site. I understand the frustration. I get it, but I also understand the flip side because it takes a lot of time and a lot of money to do this. So one of the 3 buildings on the site, Neo City Academy, and that is the #1 public high school in Osceola County and the Orlando Metro. In fact, the 500-student magnet school also cracks U.S. News and World Report's top 100 high schools in the entire country. So it's been so successful, they're adding another wing onto the Neo City Academy. And so you do have a bright spot.
It will be a success when it's finally done and will attract more people.
And it's great to have that kind of a school be so close to what you're trying to achieve in that same space, right? To have the collaboration from a public high school. Now, you have to get in. It's like a 30% accepting rate.
But it's a good sign that it's at capacity, it does really well.
It's like, hurry up is what I think the taxpayers would like to say. But we'll see what happens down the road.
Yeah, we know you'll keep an eye on it. Sure. Well, turning now to what's trending on clickorlando.com, the top trending story has to do with Florida's popular grocery chain, Publix.
Publix is always topping the list, isn't it? We're not talking about what's inside the grocery store. We are talking about what's in the parking lot. It's not something you would expect to see. I think that's what's grabbing a lot of folks' attention. So if you shop at the Publix at Town Center, that's along Darrell Carter Parkway near Orlando, O-Town West. So you might have noticed this. That is a cemetery sitting in the parking lot. It's a small plot, as you can see, but it hosts the remains of 2 Union soldiers from the American Civil War. The cemetery has been around since the 20s, and it's protected by a development agreement in the shopping center.
That is, I don't think I ever knew that was there. I've not been to that Publix, but this is the second unusual cemetery story we've had this week, it seems like. The one that's kind of in the middle of a street in a neighborhood, and now
I mean, you don't want to unearth anything, so
no, you don't. Just
they were there first.
Let it be.
So yeah, something else trending tonight: shark sightings on the rise.
These stories are crazy. As officials continue to sound the alarm, we're keeping up with those recovering from being attacked recently. Days after a shark attack in the Florida Panhandle left teenager Lulu Gribben without a left hand and a right leg. Her mom said the first words she uttered after surgery were, "I made it." The attack happened during a mother-daughter beach trip last Friday. Gribben was one of 3 people hurt in the shark attacks, and now officials are warning beachgoers to be on high alert. Some doctors at the beach that day recount how they jumped in to help.
We had a trauma nurse, I think there was an EMT down below help getting tourniquets. We had an anesthesiologist on standby that she said that if we needed an airway, we could. So it was very lucky that we had a great medical team of people there. Everybody just seemed to jump in, and I think it was really great human effort, and I'm glad that she survived.
Incredible the people who were on the beach in close proximity because she lost so much blood. Obviously, you lose a hand and a leg.
Oh my gosh. And then to have doctors there.
It's
as
incredible.
Well. Yeah, it was a miracle.
And just heartbreaking for that family. But to live through it is amazing.
Yeah, her words, I'm alive. That's crazy. Okay, and here are some of the other top trending stories right now over on clickorlando.com. Make sure you check them out. Just head on over to our website. Find all of our top stories on the homepage of clickorlando.com. Intense rain stalling cars and flooding streets.
Nearly a foot of rainfall came down across South Florida. It's still happening right now, and warnings are in place. Coming up, more on this record flooding and what we can expect for the rest of the week here in Central Florida. First, though.
Our behavior is going to be better, right? You and I mind better when we know we're watched by camera. It's just a fact of life, right?
New changes at a local police department. Why the new chief says this makes his officers more effective in protecting our community.
You're watching News 6 at 6:30, live on News 6 Plus. We're getting results in Palm Coast, Lady Lake, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
A local law enforcement agency is getting results, stopping crime and giving more benefits to its officers. Now, we've told you before how the Lady Lake Police Department did not use body-worn cameras.
But now that is all changing. The new chief is making some adjustments at the department, including upping the officers' salaries and even getting them new tasers and dashboard cameras. News 6's Eric Von Anken asked the new chief about how the equipment is meant to protect our community.
Sure. My name is Steve Hunt. I'm the police chief of the Lady Lake Police Department.
And Chief, you walked into a department that, in your view, was largely behind the times.
Somewhat behind the times, yes. We were not up to current best practices in law enforcement for the day that we live in. No body cameras, outdated dash cameras, outdated tasers.
How does a police department, even though you're in a small town
Sure.
here, but still how does a police department in Central Florida operate well without body cameras?
So it does not.
That was the first thing you did, the body cameras.
Body cameras, dash cameras, and new tasers.
And just like every other state-of-the-art system we've reported on, as soon as the lights go on, all 4 cameras fire up, including the body camera. And they go back in time 30 seconds.
It'll do it, and it comes back 30 seconds and starts the recording loop on it.
So, Chief, you've been here about a year now.
Just about a year.
And in the first 6 months, you got the officers a 36% pay raise, just bringing them up to what the average is in this area here in Lake County. You got body cameras, you got new tasers, and you got car dash cameras.
Correct.
You did more in 6 months than people here at the police department have been able to do in decades.
With the teamwork of lots of people, right? So one, I really want to say this commission really gets it. So I'm really thankful for their support.
If you live here in Lady Lake, how is this new technology protecting our community?
So one is providing a level of transparency that they can trust what we do, right? We're going to share that information, but it's going to capture evidence better, right? So when we go to the loud party, the loud whatever, we're able to show the state attorney's office, the prosecutors, we're going to show defense attorneys, we're going to show defendants, we're going to show judges and juries the events that took place. When we were not able to do that necessarily before. So our court cases are going to be better. Our behavior is going to be better, right? You and I mind better when we know we're watched by camera. It's just a fact of life, right?
And there's one more thing the chief is changing, asking his community if he and his police officers are getting results. He says up until now, no one has ever asked them. Protecting our community in Lady Lake, Eric Von Anken getting results. News 6.
Heavy rain expected to fall across our state in the next few days, and there's already flooding in Gulf Coast cities like Tampa and Sarasota, and the rain is also causing major travel delays. In Sarasota, streets saw 6 inches of rain, the most the area has seen in a day in more than 8 decades. Cars were left stranded in the water, and some drivers had to be rescued as the water levels rose.
We got it out, thank God. I couldn't see, rain was in my eye.
She was an old lady. We helped her steer out of traffic and get her to the parking lot where she'll be safer.
Now, even with the floods, the rain is a relief for some areas after the May heat led to droughts throughout Central and South Florida. I know my lawn is smiling.
Yeah, absolutely. But I know we focused a lot of that on the Gulf Coast cities. But right now, Miami and South Florida is really getting hits.
Yeah.
Causing some major flooding there.
They do. Flash flood emergencies are in effect. That's the highest end there. That means that there's life-threatening flash flooding ongoing now. That's
serious.
Yeah. That's where water rescues are happening. That's what that designation is. So that is awful stuff for our friends in Miami right now, as that steady stream of tropical moisture surging on through. That's where the steady stuff is. We're under the influence of that same tropical moisture, but it's much more scattered in nature, as that fire hose, if you will, is connected to the Caribbean for our friends in South Florida. Right now, we have fizzling out downpours, so I am very optimistic that most, if not all, of the soccer game going to get in tonight. Your evening plans tonight looking very, very nice. Just a few routine pop-up downpours, but again, we're going to wind things down, I think, over the next couple of hours. Again, in terms of that game tonight, rain chance is really going to start to wind down for us. We see it live there as the stadium's starting to get packed up. It's a live look in downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando delivering Hope Skycam. I think things are going to be pretty good. 80 degrees with a breeze out of the south and east at about 5 to 10 miles an hour for us tonight. Temperature-wise this evening, we're currently into the mid-80s in Palm Coast. It is really, really muggy out there, though. Air temperatures now down to 80 degrees after a few thunderstorms blew through the Orlando International Airport. Same for us in Kissimmee. We are at 84. 86 in Leesburg, 85 for us in the Villages. The muggies are really cranked up. Here's what I was talking about in terms of that fire hose. You see all of the green here. We are tapped into the deep tropics right now, all the way back towards the Yucatan, extreme Western Caribbean, and that has focused itself all over South Florida, really Sarasota, Lake Okeechobee. It points to the south. Right now, we actually have some drier air being ingested as an area of investigation, that Invest 90L. You may have heard about that. There was a little spiral that popped up on the map last night. The Hurricane Center tagged it as that to run their hurricane models on it, because there's going to be the opportunity for some tropical development east of Florida. So this is really no bearing on central Florida. It's just continuing to drag tropical moisture. There's 11 o'clock for us on our Thursday. We're looking good. I think most of us start the day dry tomorrow. I think most of the early afternoon going to be on the drier side. And then with the heating of the day, we're going to pop the sea breezes. There's 7, 8 o'clock into your evening, some rock and thunderstorms going to be possible. But by and large, I think a good chunk of the first part of your Thursday is looking dry, just on the grayer side and muggy, with the exception of a few stray downpours, just like what we've seen over the past few days. Now here's a look at your pinpoint, accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
Same ballpark as tomorrow. Temperatures back to the upper 80s, where we're going to be on the drier side in Wildwood, lower 90s for us, 91 in the Villages. We're at 88 degrees in Palm Coast. Over the next few days, rain chances holding tight at 60%. That's mainly for the afternoon and evening. Same deal on Friday, 40% chance for rain on Saturday as some drier air comes in for Father's Day weekend. I think we'll do a little bit of a dodge on Sunday in terms of the rain chances, but I think a lot of the day, guys, is going to be on the drier side.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan. Well, we told you about a booming area in Osceola County earlier in my Boomtown report. And in case you did not know, WKMG hitting the road this week to Osceola County in the 34744 zip code.
Yeah, we knew. So after the break, we'll show you where and when you can come out and see our newscast live as we hit the road. We're back in 2.
Well, in the future of space, we have a launch countdown now for tomorrow. SpaceX was scheduled to lift off with another cluster of Starlink internet satellites tonight from the Cape, but weather shifted some things around. So this next batch of 22 satellites will join a growing fleet of thousands already in low Earth orbit. Liftoff now scheduled for tomorrow, 4:46 in the afternoon. If it happens, you can watch it live on clickorlando.com and on News 6. Well, if you haven't heard, we are taking our newscast on the road once again, listening to your concerns, and you're invited to join us.
Yeah, we want to see everyone come out and, join us for the live show. Kissimmee and St. Cloud, you are our next stop. Tomorrow, we're live from Matador Tacos and Tapas Bar, focusing on the issues you told us about in the 34744 zip code. Please come out and say hello. We'd love to see you out there. So join us. That's tomorrow from 4 until 7 in the evening. You'll also have a chance to score some free News 6 swag. So again, we hope to see you out there.
All right, looking forward for some Matador tacos.
I'm saving my appetite because that's all I've been thinking about. And, you know, there are a couple of other restaurants that have been profiled. I'm just going to make the run.
Gonna make her a little, yeah, and then do some news. I like it.
Maybe.
What could go
Maybe.
wrong?
We'll see.
Thank you so much for watching News 6 at 6:30. Stream News 6 online anytime on our News 6 Plus Smart TV app.
We break news on clickorlando.com. See you back here tonight at 11.